Hey guys, Brian here with 2B Clean Auto Detailing. Wanted to do a little informational video today for my personal site, just to show clients on why I clay during the process of after washing it and before applying protection, whether it be a sealant, well, before you even machine polish, etc. So what I have on my car right now is I put Ceramic Pro Sport on here. It's a 6-month warranty, up to a year coating. Been 4 months since I applied. You can see it's beaten really well. There's not a problem with it, but what sparked me to do this video is I don't have time to wash this vehicle all the time, so sometimes it sits underneath my trees and it gets a lot of sap on there, and so what ended up happening was there's so many spots that had a lot of built up tar. So what I wanted to do is go ahead and wash this and take the iron out. You know, I just wanted to show a little bit of the process, but also show you why we do things like this in the detailing world. So I'm going to go ahead and just wash the panel real quick. It's pretty clean right now. If you are a client and you're wondering why there's no soapy bubbles or whatever, this is called a rinseless wash. So I'm using this product called O&R. It's pretty great for world detailing. So you could rinse, decontaminate a panel, and then wash it and then just dry it. So you don't have to rinse it off. So if you're into direct sunlight, it can have huge advantages. So the next thing I'm going to do real quick here, I'm just trying to prep this properly. So my main goal here is to show you why I clay. So you won't be able to hear it, but this is super smooth still. But I'm going to go ahead and spray an iron removal. This is going to remove any kind of contaminants that may have bonded to this coating. It's been 4 months. This is really even not necessary. But again, I had a lot of sap, so what I'm going to be ending up doing is redoing this whole section. And as you can see, the coating's doing its job. It's trying to repel this product that's removing the iron. So I'm going to let that sit up here for a minute. And I'll show you guys the Claybar I'm going to be using in the camera. So I'm using Maxshine Magic Clay bar. The reason why I wanted to use this is this is a pretty neat clay bar in the fact that you can use it with just plain water. You don't even have to use soap, clay lube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one side with car wax, and then I'm going to do the one side with just water. Excuse me. And another cool trick I like to do when I store my clay bars is, let's see if the camera shows that, I actually have maybe about 10-15 spritz of the car wax in here. This just helps it so it doesn't stick to each other, and if any kind of debris might land in here, it'll have the car wax to protect it. So that iron removal has been sitting on the panel for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and rinse it off. I didn't expect there to be much iron. As you can see, the coating is still there. It might be a little dead here, but like I said, I had to remove a lot of sap, so I used some pretty good chemicals to remove the sap, and the coating still withstood it. So another thing I'm going to do real quick is take my Meguiars all-purpose cleaner 3-to-1. I love using this stuff. This is going to remove any more of the sealant, waxes, spray coatings if you may. I love using this stuff. It's super inexpensive. You can get it through website, if you have an account through them, you know, just couple it with some other products so you can get some free shipping, or so you don't just pay for the shipping for just a gallon of this stuff. But I love this stuff because this should really shock the coating. So all I'm trying to do here is, even if I don't remove it all, I'm really trying to get the surface as clean as possible, because I'm going to show you guys the claying process. So I really wanted to make sure I do this the right way, so when I reapply my protection, I'm right back on top of a smooth panel. I'm going to let that sit up there on that panel for a couple minutes. I'm in the shade, so I'm going to let that dwell up for as long as I can. And I'm going to go ahead and be off camera. I'm going to fill up my spray bottle. You guys can follow my voice. This is an amazing microphone. I can't thank Phil and Landon Crawford enough about suggesting me get this. So I'm able to walk around. Hopefully my audio didn't cut out. I went inside a little building. So all I'm doing now is getting some distilled water. Go ahead and show you guys on camera. That way you guys can see I'm using just water. Just using water as the clay lube. And then I'm going to use the other side, like I said, with some car wax. And what I hope to show you is that there's going to be no differences in any kind of the marks that the clay makes. So when you clay a vehicle for protection, I do love using a clay mitt, but sometimes on some paints, maybe heavy contaminants, you end up getting some marring of it. So especially on black paint, soft paint, you don't want to induce any kind of damage if you're going to be just protecting it. If you're polishing it, yeah, go ahead and go to town on it. See if there's any kind of residue left real quick. That had a little bit of O&R in it, so it might have a little bit of beading and sheeting. But it looks like it pretty much shocked it. It's got the panel was polished, so this is going to be normal sheeting. And as you can hear, squeaky clean. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Claybar, if I can find it. I'm not too set up like I'd like to be today. Alright, so I'm going to take this one that I used a couple times now. You can see, I don't know if you can see that. It's not really too dirty. I try to prep the panels a lot. The reason why I love this Maxshine is it's just so easy to manipulate. Even being a big guy, I gotta be honest, sometimes I just don't like kneading the clay. And you knead the clay so that you can push the contaminants inside. So I'm gonna do this side with just the water. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spray this up here. I'm actually going to do water, no clay, and then car wax as the lube. So I'm going to make this into a patty. And I'm just going to go back and forth. There's really not a lot of contamination anyway, but again, I'm just going to make sure that this panel is prepped properly. Give the whatever product I put on here. I'll probably just top it again with some more Ceramic Pro Sport. So there's that panel. As you can see, no contaminants. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. I'm going to put this back in the container, and then I'm going to grab a new one. This one's, I've never used this one. And now I'm going to use a car wax basically as my clay lubricant. The manufacturer suggests of this product suggests like one spray or whatever. It is super concentrated. I'm going to spray 4 like you saw, 4 or 5. Just going to leave it into this patty, and I'm going to glide it on here. You want to be careful on using too much clay lubricant because you really want the clay to bite into the paint a little bit, as least as possible, but still you don't want it to just glide because then it's just going right over the contaminants. Try saying that word 1,000 times today. Anyway, so I did the whole panel. Again, you can see it's super clean. So either the 1-year ceramic coating did its job and helped protect the paint from bonded contaminants. Also couple that with an iron removal / all-purpose cleaner applied to it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and rinse this. And then I'm going to go ahead and dry it with this little Dreadnought Junior. Believe it or not, I coated my one sedan, and I was able to dry the entire vehicle with this thing. Almost to perfection. It needed to be a coated vehicle though. I might wash this off again. It's got some of that wax in it. And I'll take you guys in here. Hopefully we can see something. So I used it without lubricant. I just used it with water. So it's going to get a little shaky here. I'm going to unclip this from the tripod. So here we go. Turn this light on here. As you can see, and it might not be picking up some, but there's just a little bit of defects from when I polished it out. I didn't go for perfection. I tried to leave as much clear coat as possible, but there's no indications of any damage from the claying process. As you can see, here's the panel that was not even clayed, so still no damage. And then here's the side that I used the car wax on, and so again, there's no damage. It's not picking up everything, but I do not see any damage. So this Claybar holds its claim true. You know, I used just water. I know it sounds a little weird to use just water, but so that's pretty cool because after you get done, you know, with washing your car, while it's still wet, you could just keep it wet and use the clay to just remove the contaminants while it's still wet. So I know this is a pretty long video and a very multi-purposeful video. Just wanted to show you guys, my clients, why I clay, and there's a little sneak peek in my procedures on how to prep the surface as well. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a blessed day.